system in my life has just been so crucial. Like even just having you guys here with me today, like it's not, the more I make things about me, the more I'm not there. Like it's a very long and treacherous like life for me to be like, yep, I'm on my own trying to figure this out. Remember that whole yoga thing? I can't do the yoga thing because it would be in my head. Like I'm by myself too much. Mm-hmm. And just having people to relate to where you don't think, because we all have this thought like, oh, we're alone. It's just us. We're the only ones with that nasty thought. And it's not the truth. So then like as I kept building my friendships and rebuilding my friendships, because the community I had before was a whole different community. And then it was like, what do I have now? I'm starting completely over. And I then all of a sudden started relating to like even people in the military, because like they would have one certain life, then they would get out. And then it was like, now what? You know, they have jobs that they related to themselves as that's who I am. And then they're gone from that. And then they're like, now what? And there's this like sense of loneliness and sadness that was coming over me all the time. Like as I was trying to figure out what's next, what am I going to do? How am I going to move on from my life? How am I going to rebuild, recreate, redesign, all that kind of stuff? And it was through my girls, like through my community of friends, and not just girls, but guys too. But like it was really like formed such great friendships, you know, and having you guys to be able to call and be like, like way more often than I was even comfortable with or wanted to. Thank you all so much. But like, and being able to be that, I realized more and more I was that for a lot of people. And then when it was time for me to have that, it was so important to allow and to be able to receive from my girls, like what that is, you know, like it just made such a difference for me in my healing process and in my being able to move on and have like a whole new outlook and like having people's support, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like with the whole healing and everything as well, I noticed like one of my biggest things has been just releasing. Like if it's stuck up in here, it's gonna just go, like I just gotta go crazy, because all I'm doing is creating stories that are not even true, right? As opposed to actually like talking it out. So it doesn't even matter now, like whether it's, you know, friends or like some of my family members or my husband, of course, he's been amazing. Yeah. But just having that support system that when I do have something that's upsetting me, just getting it out. Yeah. Getting
and not
whatever
being perfect.
And not being, oh my God,
Please.
yeah. Like I've definitely let go of perfection. Like, all means, I mean, it still comes up, but you know, but overall, like it's just allowed me to like release, and then with that releasing, like I literally feel like the heaviness just becomes like immediately light. And so that's like why it's been so important in my life. And just knowing that I'm loved, like, I think that was the hardest thing. I didn't, like, that's my thing, is I'm not lovable, is what I always, like, would get triggered by. And so now it's like, no, I'm loved. I'm so loved. And so it's just, like, having that support system has made it really more, like, I don't know, I'm just, like, now I know I am loved. Yeah. You know?
If we don't let you, let you get away with it. Like, nope. Sorry. No. And you can. That's the thing. When you have that community, someone's going to tell you something exactly when you need to say. You're like, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that one. What about you, Miss Marissa?
You know, it's interesting because I'm such an independent person, and I am such an introvert, like, at the same time, right? Like, I love my alone time, but, you know, it's exactly what you guys are explaining. For me, it's having a support system in the most challenging times of, like, just people telling you that they believe in you, or that they support you, or that they, like, you know, they're so excited for you. Like, just, like, living off of their energy about their excitement for you. Like, recently I launched a book, a collaborative book that I wrote with a bunch of other women, and I was like, you know, my mind just wants to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, it's not a big deal. But I had all these friends who were like, oh my God, that's so cool.
So awesome.
Like, wow. Like, and I got to, like, live off of their energy.
I shared you on Instagram. I was like,
right. And,
so
like,
excited for you.
My brain didn't want to allow me to do that. Like, it just wanted me to be, like, small, you know, or just be like, oh, like, it's fine. It's no big deal. But having the support system, I get to, like, see myself from a new perspective. I get to see myself for how they see me,
Yes.
rather than how my brain and my mindset wants to see me, right?
Yeah.
And and I just want to say this, like, for all the people out there who don't feel like they have supportive friends, like,
Yeah.
go meet other people. Go get out there, join a sports team, walk outside, like, go do personal development, whatever
Yeah.
you need to do to build, like, a new community, because you can find that group of people that's going to support you.
Seriously.
Because we've all been there. We've all had
my
friendships
God,
that have ended, that, like, haven't been what we needed or weren't supportive, and you don't have to stay in them, because there's so many people out there in the world
many.
who want to support you, even if you're at your lowest possible position. There's
Yeah.
always somebody out there who is willing to listen and to be there for you, and to, like,
Yeah.
all that. And the last thing that I want to share too is that I think it's important to, like, have different people who serve different things. Like, you don't have to have one person
Totally.
who serves everything for you.
Yeah.
You can have these friends that help you with this. You have these friends who are fun friends. You have your parents who support you with these things. You have your
Yep.
family who does this, right? And I think that like helps to have, like, a wide network of friends.
Yeah.
And it doesn't drain that one
Yeah,
particular
totally.
person. Like, if I were to, like, go and say
Right.
everything to my husband, poor guy.
Exactly.
I don't think you'd be too
so
happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Help our friends help us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and it's so true, because I had that, and that was one of the things that kept me in a situation that wasn't serving me, and I knew was because I thought those were my friends. I didn't want to leave them. If I left, I would completely lose that community, and I would be alone. And when I got out there, and I was forced to make new friendships and recreate new friendships with those friends in a different environment. I've probably doubled in 2 years what I created in 8. And it's just that knowing and getting out there and meeting more people. Having my events, I've met so many different people from different walks of life. I kind of had the thing about networking events, and I was like, I don't really want to go and be like, here's my business card, and how to share myself that way. But it was just in having people and then asking them, like, who do they want to have honor their lives and self-love and all that. Like, different people were coming. I got to meet different people, and then through them and through them and through them. And I know social media is crazy, but you can meet some really, like,
I'm all about social
it's
media.
right.
Personally.
I have met so many people through those social media outlets that, like, I never would have met out on the street. I never would have.
Heck, that's how I met my husband.
Yeah, right. and it's just interesting, because when you start looking at other people's, like, mutual friends or who they have in connection, you're like, wow, if I really love this person, then that person has a high vibe too. I want to be around that person. And at first I used to be, like, nervous to meet them, and now I'm like, hey, what's up? I know you know so and so, and and then, or we're all friends together or whatever. But it's just been really great, like, getting outside of because I'm an extroverted introvert is what I call it. Like, you see me and I'm out there, woo woo, but man, I'll go in, like, really quickly. I need that me time, and just being able to, like, step out of that and, like, be like, all right, let's meet this, like, let's meet up here, let's meet up there. And I got connected to someone. She wants to drive down an hour. She's like, I just want to meet you. I just love your vibe. I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's cool. And she's like, let's collaborate on some stuff. And she just loves the message, and who knows, but being open to meeting new people and receiving them, because before it was like, I used to have 5 friends, and that was it, and that's all I wanted was 5 friends. And now I'm like, no.
You're like 500.
With a lot of zeros. What about you guys? What are some places that you do?
Well, for me, I think, I'm like very extroverted. Like, I usually get like 98, 99% like all the tests.
Yep.
But it's more of, like, not the amount of people, but it's just, like, the quality of the friendships, I think, is what's gotten really important for me. And it's just, like, being, a part of, my nutritional business, or, like, the different programs that I do, that I find people that I connect with.
Yeah.
And then just being open, really, because I used to actually, so, like, one of the things I realized is I had this thing about the universe is like a hostile place. You know how, like, the Einstein quote, where it's like, is it a hostile or a friendly place? And so after I shifted that to actually being like, oh no, the universe is a friendly place. Like, not only am I more open to people, but like all those like friendly people like just come
more
up to
open
me.
to you.
Yeah, and they just like, I mean,
magnetic.
randomly come up to me and they're like, oh my God, you're like, you know, I told you about that one guy, like comes up to me in a restaurant, he's like, your vibe
Yeah.
from like afar. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. Like, cool, let's connect,
dig
you
it.
know? And so it's just, I think for me, is just being open to just meeting new people. And then to me, just connecting on social media has been like a really huge thing.
Yeah.
And then, and really just giving love to the people that are there for me and vice versa.
Yeah.
And cutting out those that don't serve me.
You know,
Making energy and space for
Yes.
new friends.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I always lived that life.
that
of,
don't
like,
serve my energy, I should say.
Yeah.
Not
I'd break
like-
up with a boyfriend like that, but breaking up with friends, it was like, no, you don't do that. You're friends forever. And it
feels
was like,
hard.
wow, it's
feels
so,
so
or even family. Like,
Yeah,
for me at
family,
least, you
yeah.
know, it's
And
just-
like breaking up sounds so dramatic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, you know, because sometimes that feels scary to like break up with someone. But like the way that I like to explain is like placing a boundary between you and that
That's-
person,
yeah,
right?
that's a
Just
really good way
creating
of
some
saying
space. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hang out with them all the time, and I find
Yeah.
out some other people to hang out with. Like you can still have like that boundary of like where, you know, okay, maybe I'll communicate with that person a little bit less, and like slowly kind of like bring yourself out of that when you know that someone's really affecting you a lot.
and in different moods,
Totally.
because it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like, oh, this is like this all the time. But hey, right now, what I need, going back to the what do I need question, right now, I need to be about me, and maybe like you said, like that circle of friends.
Yeah.
And then, but I'll come back to you. Like
Yeah.
I love you.
Right.
But right now,
It's not what I need.
it's not what I need.
Yeah.
And being
Yep.
able to have that boundary and not
Right.
hold that up.
That seems, I mean, it feels less scary to me than
Yeah.
to like break up. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna place a
sure.
boundary, like that's it, you know,
Yeah.
instead of like feeling like you have to cut somebody off. And sometimes you do. Well, that's totally
Yeah.
okay. But
Sometimes,
like,
but
you know,
sometimes what
it
you
can
need.
be like one of those slow progression, like, you know, like I'm just gonna hang out with this person less and less because it's not good for my like energy
Yeah.
and my mental health and all those things.
And again, that's I think a part of self-care is that like you're just aware of who is affecting you.
Yeah.
totally.
You know,
It's 100%
like who is
self-love,
it
yeah.
that is giving, like lifting you up versus who is it that's draining you, and then just
sure.
being aware of that.
And not feeling guilty.
So,
Because
like-
that's my biggest
Yes.
thing around self-love. It's like when I was really in that whole question, what's self-love, what's self-love, what's self-love, it was like there was always like this guilt attached to it.
Yeah.
So if I put myself first, or if I avoided a phone call or didn't call my mom, like as much, because I felt like I just always had this guilt. And now it's like,
Yep.
I love you and I will call you when I'm ready and high vibing and
Yeah. When you're gonna
and
enjoy
excited.
talking to me.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it does that for them. Like
Right.
it's not even as much for you as
Yeah.
hey, you don't want to
Both
talk to me
ways.
right now. Give me some
Yes.
time. Give me
Yes.
some space.
Yeah, totally. I think like for me, the places that I've like met the most people or created the most support system has been like in the different activities that I've been involved in, right? So like, you know, you make your college friends and then you're like out of college and you make your graduate school friends and you're out of that and then you have your roommates or you have your whatever, and just like meeting those people and like connecting with their friends, and some of the friends that I've made have been mutual friends of other friends or people that I've lived with or personal development stuff. And I think like getting yourself out there into like an organized activity
Yeah.
when after college and after graduate school or whatever school, because we have that structure to like connect with people, really helps a lot. Whatever that is, like getting out and like kind of like doing some sort of like activity, like group activity of some sort, is really helpful. And then for like the introverts out there, right, who are like afraid to like meet people want to be heard and listened to.
Always.
So if you go out and you ask people questions, I feel like I make friends like that all the time. People love me because
Because
I'm
you
like,
ask
so how's your life? Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
Like,
what's
tell me
going
about
on?
that. Like, do you have a boyfriend? You know, and I'm just constantly like asking them about themselves.
Yeah.
I don't even have to share anything about myself, which I know makes people nervous sometimes, right? But like, you know, like I can just like be in their world, be
Just
over
be
there
curious,
with them and
yeah.
be curious with them, exactly. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I want to hang out with this person.
Yeah,
more
they're like,
often, you
I'm
know?
open.
Yeah.
I want
Right.
you in my life. I
Right.
want you with me all the time.
Totally.
You actually care.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like, different events as I was, you know, starting this business and really getting my message out. I'm very protective of where I want to release this message to, because I don't want it killed off by those people that are just about them and just about them. So like when I'm out communicating and meeting people, it's so important to me that they're like, You know, not that I'm like, here's my self-love program, or here's this, or here's that, or you got to come do this with me. It's more like, I really am more interested in you. Like, I make my events even more about my speakers and my boss babes, and as they call vendors, because it's not about me. I'm just here as like a connection phase for people. And so when you're just that connector, you are like, I just like, hey, I want to know about people. It's not about me. It's so not about me. And that's why it's so even funny, because it's called self-love, but it's not my self-love. Like, myself is everything. So